What's happening, you guys? This is Anthony, aka the Bigfella, bringing you another video. Got a question in my inbox on how to spool up a spinning rod. The last video I recommended getting a spinning rod if you're starting out, or sometimes when you go to the store, the reel doesn't have any line in it. So I wanted to go ahead and show you guys how to go ahead and spool this thing up so you can get out there on the water and get on some fish. I'm using this as a prop. I'm not lining my rod up with this, but I wanted to use this so you can actually see the knot a little bit better. Then we're going to actually put some actual fishing line on this fishing rod right here, and I'll show you the tricks and stuff that I use to be able to spool this up pretty quickly. Alright, you guys, before we actually spool it up with a real fishing line, I wanted to use this twine so you can get a better visualization of what we need to do to get this tied on. We're going to be using a stopper knot with a slip knot to get this thing on the reel. The first thing you want to do is run your line through all of your guides until you get down there here to the reel, and then you can actually set that down with some excess and manipulate your fishing line at this point. First thing you're going to do is just tie a simple overhand knot, and then you're going to tie a slip knot here, and then you're going to put the slip knot on your reel, draw that tight, and start reeling your line up on the fishing reel. But there are some tips and stuff I want to show you guys as we're doing that with the actual fishing line. But first thing you want to do, after you tie your little stopper knot, you can actually cut all of this off. That way it's not in the way on your fishing line. Next thing you're going to do is, I actually don't even need the scissors anymore, is tie a slip knot. How you do that is, I like to just make a little cross here and then kind of run it under, almost like you're doing an overhand knot, but you need to actually grab the loop and just do another little overhand knot there. Draw that knot tight, and then you're left with this knot here. And then when you're ready to put it on your fishing line, like let's pretend my wrist is the reel, you can actually put it on there and then pull it tight. And then as you pull it tight, this will pull through the through the rest of the fishing line and hit your stopper knot and won't go any further and doesn't slip off. So now that you got that visualization with this little slip knot here, we're actually going to go ahead and do it with the regular fishing line. Now here we have the spinning rod here that I'm going to be spooling this line up on. I went ahead and picked up some Trilene XL Extra Tough 6-pound test. Probably use it for like perch or crappie or something like that. Just a spare rod I had lying around. But it comes with a little sticker so you can actually put your line back on here when you have enough. Like I said, we're going to not drop your fishing line. You're going to take your fishing line here. This is why I wanted to use that twine, because I know you wouldn't be able to see this line here, but we're just going to go ahead and run the fishing line through all your guides, and I'm just going to pull out enough slack to where I can actually like set the fishing line down, the fishing rod down, and tie my knot and stuff like that. So we'll put that over there. Alright, first thing first, like I said, tie your little stopper knot. You don't want it to be too tight because you want it to actually stop on there. Grab my scissors, snip that little excess off here. Tie your slip knot. Come on. Sorry y'all, this monofilament here is giving me the business. Alright, got my slip knot here. Draw that tight. There we go. And then, very important, because if you don't do this step, you're going to end up having to start all over. Flip your bail open. I've like done it with the bail closed and went to go start reeling the fishing line on here. I'm like, it's not collecting on here. So make sure you open that bail. Another trick, especially with like braided line, because it's so slick, monofilament too. Well, probably all fishing line is. I like to take some electrical tape and before I put that slip knot on, I like to wrap it around where the line is going so it doesn't slip. Try to get it on there as flat as possible. Then you're going to take your slip knot with the bail open. Remember, take your slip knot, put it on the spool, and just draw it tight. And you can just keep on drawing it until the stopper knot hits the slip knot, and then you can close your bail. Now what I like to do is, like, I'll come up here like this with my fingers, and I'll hold the line, put this underneath my armpit, and just start cranking on it. And as you can see, that line is going on there. It's not slipping because of the electrical tape. And you just do this on your reel. It'll tell you how much fishing line that particular reel can hold. And it also shows you like what pound test. Like for instance, this reel here in particular will hold 225 yards of 6-pound test, and I don't think that's only but 125, I believe, right there, which is more than enough for me. But you just want to keep on cranking. It's almost like watching paint dry, but just think you're going to be fishing in no time once you get enough line on there. I'm actually going to probably put this whole spool of line on here. I'm sorry, this has 330 yards on it, so I'm not going to be putting that whole thing on there. It's going to start looking kind of full. I like to see how there's just a little bit of space left right here between where the line is and the edge of the reel is. I like to stop right about there. I'd say that's probably about half a centimeter or so, centimeter, something like that. But you can be the judge of however much line you want to put on here. Then, once you're done with that, you're going to take your line where your spool is and cut it off, and you're going to tie on the lure. With a little snippy snip, boom, and now you're ready to fish. Your brand new rod, nice and spooled up with some new line. You could do this if you want to change the line, or like the subscriber messaged me, said that they bought one and it didn't have line, or they didn't notice it in the store. But go ahead, get you some fishing line. You can get braid, you can get monofilament, which I recommend monofilament if you're first starting out. Go ahead and get that spool up and go out there and get some fishing. To recap, just run your line through your guides, tie your stopper knot and your slip knot, put some electrical tape around the spool itself. Make sure you open that bail, because if you don't, you're going to be starting over again. Close your bail, reel up as much line as you want to put on there, snip it, tie on your lure, and get out on the water. I want to thank you guys very much for watching this episode of Bigfella Outdoors. Be sure to tune into the next episode. You can catch me outside doing what I love most, getting my dose of the great outdoors. Be sure to get y'all's too.